Hey guys, today I want to share with you a little bit about how we use play and art therapy in our programs. How we can use play and art to help us to have healing conversations. We're going to start with a little exercise, and so I want each of you uh, to to uh, to grab a partner um, and take a look at this picture, this slide I'm going to show you. This is a an ink blot, and I want you to take a look at this and tell your partner what you see here. All right, now take a look at this one and tell your partner what you see in this one. All right, one more. Take a look at this one, and what do you see here? Okay, so these ink blots are we call it a Rorschach, and it's a tool that therapists can use to help analyze what's going on with somebody. Now we started with this exercise because it's an example of what we are not doing. We are not going to be using art as a tool to analyze kids. Instead, we are going to use art and play as a tool to help kids communicate with us. That's what art and play is all about when we do this program. It's all about establishing a language or giving the kids another language that they can use to help tell their stories. So when we're helping someone to heal from trauma, when we're helping to heal a broken heart, there are three things that we do, right? We build trust. We're present with them. We build trust. We practice. There's something that we do, and we help them to tell their story. And so play and art is all about helping them to tell their story in a way that's safe for them, in a way that that's easy for them to share. You know, it's really hard to sit down with a kid and say, "Hey, tell me what's going on," because a lot of times kids don't really know, one, but also they don't have the words to communicate. And so when we use play and art, we give them another way to communicate without using words. So it's all about communication. It's communication that is safe, it's natural and comfortable for the kids, and it builds on the trust that we've been trying to establish. So play therapy is the use of play to help work through the traumatic events by recreating, assimilating, and healing the negative thoughts and feelings that are associated with the trauma. So play and art gives the kids freedom to express themselves. They can say whatever things they want to say through the art and the play. They can share what they're thinking and feeling. Um, our oldest son, he's 15 now, but when he was in elementary school, he was probably second grade, and we were homeschooling at the time, but we also sent him to this like school for homeschool kids. So one day a week he would go and be with other kids, where he would get to hang out with them and take some classes with them. But anyways, they did a play for their homeschool group, and Rock just didn't want to do it. Like he would cry. He just like really didn't want to do the play, but he couldn't tell us why. Like we would ask him what's going on. Why don't you want to do this? Why are you so emotional? Whatever. He could never tell us. But one day he drew a picture, and he drew a little person, a little stick figure person with a sad face and tears on his face, and then he drew a bunch of little circles below that person. And I was like, "What's going on here, bud? What did you draw?" And then he told me that the kid was him, and all the circles were the people in the audience, and he just felt like he was going to cry if he had to do. He was going to cry in front of everyone if he had to do the show. It turns out that just using that art, and he did it himself. I didn't even prompt him to do it. He did it himself, but it gave him a way to communicate with us a little bit of what was going on. So play and art allow kids to communicate. Really, it's that simple. So games are great as well. Play is good as well because one, it's fun. Kids love to play, and so when we play with kids, we join them. We come down to their level, and we engage with them where they are. So play is an important thing for creating trust and building rapport with kids. So I want to talk a little bit about how we use art, what we can do with it, how we talk about how we talk to the kids about their art. And so I've got a few examples for you. This first one is a picture of it's a picture of this, and a kid in the Republic of Georgia drew this. We spent some time there working with them after they had a conflict with Russia in 2008, right around the times of the Olympics. I don't know if you remember that, but like the day before the Olympics, Russia invaded Georgia. Anyways, so the kids had experienced this conflict with Russia, and so we spent some time with them. And one of the kids drew this picture. I think we were talking about safe places and where is your safe place. So this kid drew this picture here, and similarly, there's another one that's similar to it. Then we also just talked about the conflict and what was it like. We asked them to draw a time when they were afraid, and this kid drew this, and so after they draw the picture, we spend some time talking to them about what they've done, and we use that the roadmap to a healing conversation. We can use that when we talk about art. So first we talk about the facts. What's going on in the picture. Then we can talk about thoughts and feelings. So for example. You can say, tell me about your picture. What's going on? And the kid will, begin to talk about it, and then you can ask about specific things in the picture. You can say, who tell me who this is. Tell me about this person, and they can tell you about that person. And after you've talked about the picture a little bit, you can say, hey, what's going on up here? And the kid, I remember this conversation. The kid was talking about how these were the Russians flying their helicopters, dropping bombs, and so I asked, So tell me about this person. What's he thinking? And the kid said, I don't know if you can see it very well in here, but you can see it better on this blue guy. But the pilot is smiling, And so the kid said that he's thinking how happy he is to be dropping bombs. And so there you can ask about the facts, the thoughts, and the feelings using art. An important thing, Becca mentioned this a few weeks ago when she talked, but here's another picture, and this one was a picture of a safe place. This girl was drawing her safe place, and so we were asking her about her safe place and what was going on. Tell us about this building, and she would tell us, and we'd ask about the different things. The important thing is that you never assume that you know what's going on in the art. You always ask, what's going on. You always say, tell me about this. What's this? Because you can assume something like, for example, this sun. If you can see that, the sun, at first glance, it looks like a happy, bright sun, right, shining bright in the sky. But if you look, the face of the sun isn't necessarily happy, and so I asked, tell me about the sun. What's the sun thinking? And by the way, kids can ascribe thoughts and feelings to inanimate objects. They're very creative that way. And so I said, tell me tell me about this. And she was telling me it's the sun. And I said, well, what's the sun feeling? And she said the sun is very sad. And she told me the sun was very sad because this was her safe place. The sun is sad because this was her walking with her one of her parents, and she said the sun is sad because the sun can see the helicopters coming. And so then she went on to tell us about how her home was bombed and destroyed. So this place that was her safe place was taken from her. So it's important that you don't assume that you know what's going on, but you ask these questions. What's going on? You use all of your listening skills. You use the Dr. Grunts that Dr. Whitty talked about. You use the phrase, tell me more about that. And you use all of your listening skills, all of your tools, so that you can best understand what is going on with the art and what's going on there. So let's practice this. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen or markers, whatever you've got around. We don't need to have anything fancy. And I want you to think about your safe place, a place that you feel safe, a place where, when you're upset or you're afraid, a place where you can go. It can be real or it can be imagined, but a place where you feel safe. I want you to spend maybe 4 or 5 minutes thinking about and drawing that safe place. Then after that, you'll partner up with a friend, and you choose whichever one of you wants to go first can go first. But I want you to share your pictures with each other, and then I want whoever is listening, I want you to use all of the listening skills that you have. I want you to use your roadmap to a healing conversation. I want you to avoid all the roadblocks that might shut down a healing conversation. And I want you to guide the conversation and invite the person to share what is going on in their pictures. And remember, ask about the details of the picture. Ask about what people are thinking, or what's going on, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. You can ask about inanimate objects, but just do that. And then after a few minutes, we'll switch, and the other person will get a chance to share.